Hello and welcome to another episode of the Hahn Films Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Hahn, owner and executive producer at Hahn Films. On this podcast, we talk about the ins and outs of filmmaking with cast, crew, clients, and more who have worked with us. Today, I'm speaking with Tiffany Browne-Tavarez. She is an actor who we've worked together for over a decade now, starting with Tiger Lily and then moving on to Generation Hack, which just premiered at Big Apple Film Festival and is about to premiere in March at the Maryland International Film Festival. We are going strong with our festival run, and we hope that you will keep an eye on that on social media. But first, let us talk to Tiffany Browne-Tavarez about her career in acting from New York City to Florida and back again.
You never told him?
We were all part of this. I could have found a way.
I can't just be stone cold and help fix the world.
Every species on the planet fights for survival.
I will stand, and I will fight to save this world.
60 Hahn, take two.
Hey, Tiffany, it's a pleasure to see you today. Thank you for coming on to the podcast. I really appreciate it. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. We've worked together for a really long time now. And it's always, yeah, exactly. And, it's always great to, as I'm writing and coming up with new ideas and characters, you're always one of those actors that like pop into my head and I'm like, this would be a cool part for Tiffany. So I appreciate you always being there in the Hahn Films roster.
Of course. I appreciate that too. Like that just means so much to me to hear.
Of course. So I do want to talk, I want to go further back than just our friendship, partnership, whatever you want to call it. But I'd like to hear a little bit about your past and how you got into acting and what brought you to where you are today.
I actually got started when I was a kid, and it was through doing plays at church.
Wow.
Doing plays at church. I don't know. I had so much fun with it. And, after the play, like people would come up to me and tell me, they loved it and they loved my performance. And I'm a little kid, so I'm just like taking it in. But like, I think it had an impact on me. So then once I was old enough in school to where they were offering theater classes, I just started getting into it that way. And I don't know, I think I was around 12 when I decided, okay, I want to be an actor. Like, this is what I want to do. So it's, doing church plays, funny enough.
Wow, that's so cool. And see, again, we've known each other for like 10 years now, and that is not a fact that I knew. So that's pretty awesome. So after you finally transitioned into, you were 12, I'm sure through, school and all that, you probably acted a ton.
Yes.
A lot of us, we start in musical theater because that's a lot of what schools offer, right? So when did you finally say, you know what, I like doing all that, but I think I want to be in front of the camera? Because I don't think you've really done any musical type of theater stuff since being like on film, right?
No, I haven't. Especially I'm from Virginia, so Southwest Virginia. So especially at that time, there weren't people making indie films and commercials being filmed there. Now I feel like you kind of there are people there doing that, but when I was there wasn't. So the only thing I could do was theater. Like that was the only option for me, and I loved it. Like having a background in theater, I think, is priceless. And I did do musicals and Shakespeare and all of that. I think when I realized I wanted to be on camera, I think I always knew. It just the option wasn't there.
Okay.
There until I moved to New York. And then I started auditioning for films and doing that transition. But I think I always knew.
Okay. And when did you move to New York? Was that like for a college move?
No, I moved to New York in 2005. It wasn't a college move. I just had to be in New York.
That's awesome.
New York. The first time I went to New York, I was 17. It was a school trip, and I don't know, I felt like I belonged there. So finally, I had the opportunity to move, and I I couldn't not be there any longer. And I knew I wanted to pursue acting, and my survival job is being a makeup artist, so that kind of works in New York as well. So it was just the right time. So 20 years this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. I mean, New York is a feat for anyone, and then that kind of move to being in Virginia, I'm sure like in the suburbs, the city is a way different place to be in. So,
It's way different, but because I loved it so much and I still love it so much and I feel like it's where I belong, it just felt very natural to me.
yeah,
I felt comfortable in the city. It always feels like home. Yeah.
that's awesome. Cool. So, you're here, you're acting, and you get this gig with a friend of mine. He was in college, I was in college, Nick Mancuso,
Yes.
and you do this little short, his senior thesis film. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that, because that's kind of like the bridge into how we started working together.
Oh my goodness. I still think about that film. I do. That was such um an amazing role for me. I don't know. Diane, it's one of those like dark roles, and I believe it was like based on a true situation. And it was just the first time being able to play a character like her. um I don't know, and then like I don't know, it was amazing. I still think about it, and I have my award because I won best actress for it
What?
at
That's awesome.
college luminaries.
That's so cool.
Yes, so that role actually really, really meant a lot to me, and I think about it a lot, and I think about everyone I worked with. So that was
Yeah. That's so funny. So, I don't know if you realize this, but I actually worked on that film with Nick, but on a completely different day, completely different set. So, my old apartment in Long Island is Nick's apartment in the film. So, it
oh
happened to be a day, you obviously, because you were, I guess his uncle's wife, right? So, it happened to be a day you weren't on set. So, we actually never interacted, never met each other through that project, but
that's Hitting in Suburbia.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of the one I did with him before that, Diane.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
there's another film. I
yeah.
didn't realize that.
Yes, that's the one I won the award for, and then I did Suffocating in Suburbia. He asked me to do that role.
Wow.
Or yes, okay. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, that makes sense.
I you know what? I guess I didn't realize you did 2 films with him.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Wow, so wait, so now just to not confuse people, so Suffocating in Suburbia was the film we both kind of worked on separately but together in a way,
Yeah, yeah.
which was Nick's senior. I think that was his, wasn't that a senior thesis? Maybe that was maybe it was right after school. I don't remember now. You know, it's so long ago.
Oh, so long ago and so many projects.
Yes,
But
yes.
that was a lot of fun. That was
Yeah.
a really fun role. Wow. She was a character,
Oh
and
yeah.
that was a lot of fun.
So the film you were saying that you won an award for, it's called Diane?
But it was called Diane,
Oh,
yes.
wow. I don't know if I've seen that one, because Suffocating in Suburbia is online. You can find it on YouTube still, and I actually watched it uh maybe a month or so ago when we were prepping for this, because I haven't seen it in such a long time. But I'll have to see. Maybe I'll reach out to Nick and see if I can find that film, unless you have it.
I Yeah, I think I have a link to it where it's online.
Oh, okay. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
We could always link these films in here too,
Yeah.
because it would be great for like everyone who's watching this interview to like look back at some of
Yeah.
the earlier work that you did in the city and whatnot. Well, that was technically Long Island, but
Yes. Well,
yeah. But that's really awesome. I didn't know you won an award, because by that time I was actually finished with Five Towns. So
yeah.
I wasn't there any longer. I actually have my luminary behind us too, because I won best senior thesis film for my film a year before Nick. So it's that was a great school, and I'm happy to have met so many people there, and I made a lot of connections, and through connecting with Nick and working with him on projects, I got to meet you as well, because I was working on a film. This was like 2014. I actually have moved back to New Jersey, where I'm originally from. And my wife, Jackie, and I, well, at that time, fiance, we were working on a film that really needed a strong female lead. My wife was obviously playing opposite you in a way, big twist in that. If anyone hasn't seen Tiger Lily, go check it out. But it was I had a hard time finding someone to play this character of Juniper, because it was meant to be an older role, but there were just no actors out there that could really portray her. And we did casting call, and it wasn't coming to fruition. And I don't know if it was just, again, maybe watching Suffocating in Suburbia at some point, or just remembering your performance. I reached out to Nick and I said, hey, can I get Tiffany's contact information, because I think she might be great for this role. Like, obviously you weren't the age we needed, but I had a really great makeup artist that we were going to have on set, and I was like, we could probably age her up and get her to this point. But like, there were certain aspects of like your face and your acting style that I was like, she might be able to do this and like work well with Jackie, that was part of the whole shtick. You had to pass it off as this big twist. So I want to hear your perspective of that, and like me reaching out and working with us on Tiger Lily. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it.
Oh my goodness. Well, when I read that script and the part is like, okay, I have to do this. That's one of those roles that it's almost like a dream role. Like, there's so much depth to that character. It's a little bit outside of my comfort zone, playing a little older, but you just want to make it work and you want to do such a good job. And I loved the whole script, not just my character, but the whole script and the whole concept of the film. I was really in love with it. I knew I had to be a part of it. So that was a no-brainer for me. So that was a lot of fun. That film meant a lot to me too. It was amazing working with you all, working with Jackie. I think the entire cast and crew, Nick, like, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And it's so great to work with you all, because you know what you're going for with a character in a film. Like, I feel like you really know what you're doing as a director, and it just makes my job as an actor easier. I can just really focus on the character and playing the role. So I just wanted to bring a lot of depth to that character.
Well, you definitely did it. And again, we tend to do this, I guess, with our projects, but I tend to go back to Tiger Lily every once in a while, and your performance always resonates with me. And it's just, it was phenomenal. And what the day that you were there, because I think we only we had you for like a day and a night, because we did that night shoot, which what a great story that was, huh? So I don't know if you remember the night shoot, but like, yes. So well, for context, for anyone who's gonna watch this, so we had 2 shoots with Tiffany. One was a major day where she was in makeup the whole time in this very hot bedroom, and you and Jack, yes, and you and Jackie had this amazing scene together, and just the two of you, the chemistry, the emotions, like everything that was happening in that evening that you guys shot, that was phenomenal. And I look back at that performance and I'm like, my goodness, like, you guys are powerhouses. And to this day, it's like, I can't wait to see it. Has to happen for both of you. Now I feel the same way for Jackie, but like, you two are just amazing performers. And I just hope that one day we all skyrocket to the big leagues, but it's still fun to do these little indie projects together. And
it is
because there's no boundaries. We're able to do whatever we can within the budget we have, and you guys were willing to make such amazing roles out of these two women that finally see each other after all this time. So,
oh my goodness, you're bringing back all the emotions. It's very emotional.
Yeah.
Those scenes we did together are very emotional. Like, but I love that. But that's one of those, like, characters and script that you have to take a few days to like rest afterwards, because it's so emotional and you really get so into that and feel it so much when you're shooting it.
Yeah.
So amazing.
I couldn't imagine because, again, we all moved back to New Jersey. So, I had you take a trip down there, and I can only imagine your ride back to the city after doing that, because that was one of the last things we did that day. And then it was like, all right, thank you, Tiffany. You're amazing. And I can only imagine it's like, that relief of like getting through
Yes.
that.
It's like relief, but also there's like this high too of having an amazing day on set and working with everybody.
Oh, for sure.
Bit of both.
But yeah, so then the other day on Tiger Lily was a flashback scene, and great stuff. I love that day, and we got a lot of interesting shots, and but as happens with Hahn Films, it seems to at least happen once for me every time. We were out in a cul-de-sac or a dead end. We had permission from the owner of the house right there, but there was screaming and everything of that nature, so the cops were called on us. But it was fun. They were cool with it. They were like, just try and keep it down. Have you ever had that type of experience before that?
Yes, yes, I did in a horror film that I
Okay.
shot on Island. One of my first kind of big roles. I was in, like, I'm kind of a mental patient, and I guess, I don't know, the guy playing my husband like takes me out of the hospital, but I'm still like having mental issues. And so all of a sudden I just start screaming like all this. One of the things I was screaming was like, well, I don't know if I can say this, but I was screaming like, oh, he raped me. And
Oh, no.
yes, really loud. And we were in this parking garage. So yes, the cops were called. The cops came. So yes, I have had that experience. And they were pretty understanding about it too. So we got it done quickly.
Yeah.
But
It's
those things.
Yeah. I mean, it's the nature of indie guerrilla filmmaking. It's just bound to happen. And, most of the time, every time I've had an experience like that, the cops are always pretty
Yeah.
cool about it. And so, but yeah, I mean, that that whole film though, I mean, it was an experience, and I'm happy that you came along on that journey.
Oh, me
But
too. It
but
was
yeah.
fun to dye my hair red.
Oh, yes. I mean, that was something too. I remember going through that process with you because
Yeah.
we were trying to really match Jackie's color. She's a natural redhead, and it's so hard to get that out of a bottle. And I remember you were going to different stores trying to find wigs and things. And then you ultimately were like, you know what? I'm going to dye it. And I'm like, are you sure? Because I was so worried that it wasn't going to look right. And I don't know, you killed it. I don't know what you did, but maybe it's your background in makeup and hair that you were able to do it.
I think I did two. I dyed it twice. Like I did two colorings to get that color. So
Oh.
it worked out, and I actually loved it. I that.
Yeah. Well, if only there was more to that story, but it's like it kind of it all closed out. But I always, again, because of you make these projects, you have low budgets. I look back at those things and I'm like, I could do this better. I could do this part better. I could do that part better. So I'm always thinking about Tiger Lily and like, what could I do differently about that film? So, but I love it as is. And it's something that sticks with me forever and has helped me grow as a filmmaker too. And I guess it's worth mentioning our process. So that was 2014, 2015. We finished Tiger Lily, and it was a long while before I got to you again with another role. And it's just life in general kept me away from making a lot of films at that time. But you were on a journey and a trajectory. You were making a lot of films in the city at that time. Do you have any like standout projects that you had in New York that you want to talk about that you love? Maybe some anecdotes.
That's a good question. Because I'm trying to remember the timeline. What I between like 20 after we filmed. I was actually doing a lot of independent films. I I did a lot of films in South Jersey, actually, horror films.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I've done a lot of horror films. There's a film director named Ryan Calloway. He actually lives like in Neptune.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, I did a lot of horror films with him, and I did a lot of horror films in Long Island with another director, Joseph Manera. So that's mostly what I did, feature horror films. So, oh my goodness, the timeline is hard to remember. There were so many that stand out. Ugh. I think they were before though. They were like
That's okay. E-
and
Either way, because it's
yeah,
hard to keep track of everything too. We do so many projects.
it, and I also did a few of those true crime reenactment shows.
Oh, wow.
A&E biography. I did a few of those. Like I Killed My BFF, True Crime with Aphrodite Jones. I did a few of those. Those were a lot of fun. A lot of it is improvisation, and you get to be on television too. So that was a lot of fun. Those were a lot of fun. And I did a play too. I believe I did a play around that time, which I'm trying to get back into theater now. But I believe around 2018, 2019, I did work on a play in the city. For the Alpha Theater NYC. That was a lot of fun. So just a lot of different projects.
Yeah. It seems like, do you resonate to horror, or is it just like people find you because of horror? Like, what is it that seems to be like your key for that kind of role?
I don't resonate to it. I'm not so into horror films. I just think I'm suitable for them. Like, I don't know. I just think like I can scream really well with screaming in these films. I'm very dramatic. And I just connected with these directors who like to do, that's what they do. That's their thing. They do horror films, and they just, you keep working with the same people over and over, and it just kind of happens. It's a lot of fun. Like, I don't really watch horror films, but being in them is a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I personally have never like gotten an opportunity to do a horror film. My dad's been pushing me for years to try it because he loves them, and it's just, I don't know. It's not a genre that I can get into,
Yeah.
and like I
Like,
I can appreciate it for what it is, but if I'm going to create something that's a film, it has to have a really good story. So like I've thought about a couple of horror projects, but if the story's not there, I'm not into like the whole blood and gore aspect of things. So I guess that's what pushes me away from doing it. But
but then that would make for, if you come up with something though, it would be really good.
yeah, well, I appreciate that. Hey all, are you a parent looking for a fun and exciting podcast to listen to? Well, look no further. Go check out Couple Chat. It's a conversational podcast between my wife and myself where we talk about everything from marriage, entertainment, events, and parenting. All for you, parents. You can listen to us on YouTube Music and Spotify. Let's chat. We're on this great trajectory now with Generation Hack, which is,
Yes.
was my next big project after Tiger Lily Really, and there was a big gap in between, as I said. But once we finally got into production, I think even before this, again, just one of those situations where like as I'm writing, I'm like, this would be a good role for Tiffany. I don't think I asked you to audition or anything for it. And granted, this is a proof of concept. It's only about 12 to 15 minutes. And the role you were playing, small, but impactful and important to, Hilt's journey in the film. And again, I would love to hear, your thoughts on the film and where it's going and how you feel about you also have great perspective because you've actually read the feature film, at least the original iteration. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on Generation Hack so far.
Yeah, I'm so proud to be a part of it. First of all, that character was a different character for me. Just so that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed bringing the subtlety and the character to life. I enjoyed being a part of it. I haven't done really any sci-fi films. So just to be a part of that genre is something new for me. And again, I loved working with you, Angel. It was so much fun. I forgot how long that scene was actually. And then when we went to the film festival, which was so exciting, it was a nice scene. I'm like, wow, I didn't remember that scene being that long. And when watching it back, I was like, wow, that's a really nice, like, I love that scene. And I feel like it was an impactful scene. So actually, I would love to use some of that in my reel.
100%. You don't even have to ask twice.
So it's just really exciting to be a part of, especially now kind of that the film is being, I saw you got into the Maryland.
Yes.
Well, congratulations. I
Thank
literally
you.
saw that before I logged on. So I'm just excited to be a part of it. And I can't wait to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Like I know Jackie had mentioned to me, you wrote it as a trilogy. So
That's the hopes and dreams. I just, I want this story to continue as far as I can. If it does get picked up, a lot of producers and
yeah.
they like to see more. If it's going to be a good story, it's nice to have a lore set up where we can continue on past the first film. But yeah, so.
Well, I really enjoyed the story. It's something different. I think it's a fresh perspective on sci-fi. So I'm excited to see where it goes. So
I
hopefully,
appreciate that.
yeah, of course.
And yeah, I mean, that film was stuck in post-production for a long time. We had the pandemic happen, and it was just a project that eventually sat for a little while on the back burner. And I'm sure, and it's okay. I think everybody felt this is probably just one of those projects. Everybody was like, well, I guess we'll never see that. And it happens, especially in indie film.
Yeah.
It's hard to get films made when you're at this level. But I'm adamant about finishing projects, so I eventually got it done. But I want to talk more about after that we had this pandemic, and you made a big life change, and you kind of changed your trajectory a little bit for a couple of years there. So do you want to talk a little bit about what happened, what drove you to make this change,
Oh my.
and how that was?
Well, we moved to Florida, my husband and I. He has family down there, and they have a business. So it was always kind of something that they wanted us to do and be a part of. So it was always something we kind of talked about. And then after the pandemic and things just felt really off in New York, and New Jersey. So we just thought, okay, let's try it. Let's make this move. We'll go ahead and do it now. So we moved to Florida. I think that was October 2021.
Oh.
So that's what it was. It was just, we have family down there. So it kind of made sense at the time. It made sense.
Yeah.
And it made sense. So that was interesting.
Yeah, I bet.
But I was lucky though. I was able to do a lot of acting actually in Florida. I was with a really great talent agency, and I did a lot of like infomercials and ads. There's a lot of commercials, or I even see commercials now on TV. I'm like, okay, I know these actors from.
Wow.
Yeah. They do a lot of commercials down there, and they have a lot of amazing acting classes too. I took classes at this place in Miami called Universal Castings. Amazing. So I still was able to act. We just weren't happy in Florida.
Oh, gotcha.
The Florida part of it. It's beautiful, but yeah, we were there 2 years, and we had to come back.
It's that connection that you'll always have with New York, like you said.
It
It's
is.
part of you.
Yes, it is. And it's so funny because the people that I worked with in Florida that I got along with the most and connected with the most, they were all from New York or New Jersey.
Yeah.
New Jersey, some from Chicago, like people from the north, from cities. Just, yeah, it's funny enough.
Now, this is just a perspective on acting. So even though you found that it didn't fit for you, do you find that young actors, if they don't want to go to New York these days, can they go down to somewhere like Florida or South to make a good career in acting?
Yes, I think so. I definitely. With There's so many commercials, and not only that, there's TV shows that film in Florida. There's starting to be more independent films being shot in Florida. I think they're trying to get a film studio in Fort Lauderdale or something like that. So yes, definitely they could make a career of it. I know I met many actors in Florida that they were acting full time. They were
Awesome.
booking commercials to where they didn't have to do anything else. So yes, yes.
That's cool to know because, as most are marketed in this industry, it's like you go to California, you go to New York, and now it's like Atlanta. Atlanta
Yeah,
is like the third big
yeah,
city. And I know Angel, who plays Hilt, that's where she's living now, and she's making a really good career there. But it's really cool to hear Florida's a place that you can go. I know somebody, Eric, who worked on Generation Hack as well. He's a cinematographer. He moved to West Virginia, I want to say. So we live in a very interesting world where you can almost go anywhere, at least in our country, to make a film. I'm not sure how the Midwest is. I've never really lived there or been there, but yeah, there's a lot of places to go, and it's very interesting. I've worked in Florida quite a bit as well. I work with a yacht brokerage down there, and it is a very different world for sure. And I don't know if I could live there either, so I understand.
no. And I need the Four Seasons.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
There's something about bundling up with a nice cup of coffee
Yeah.
and just walking around. In New Jersey, you have smaller cities, but like walking around like Asbury Park or something like that, it's a nice feeling
Yeah.
to do that. You can't do that in Florida.
You can't. You can't. Pumpkin spice latte does not hit the same.
No, no, not at all. Well, Tiffany, it's been great catching up with you and talking about all these things, your journey, and now you're back in New York, and your career is continuing. I'd love to hear before we end today. What are some projects you have lined up? What are some things going on in your life now that we should be looking out for?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm not gonna lie, it's been tough. It has been tough since I've moved back. I did work in a play recently, at the Producers Club we performed at the Producers Club on 44th Street. That was in the fall. And since then, it's just been a lot of auditioning. So it's been tough. It's been tough. So what really keeps me going are things like this and finding out about all the great things going on with Gen Hack. Like, it makes me keep going. One thing I filmed a documentary in Florida called The Poison Garden.
Okay.
It is about these racial injustices that happened in Florida throughout history. It's based on 3 true stories. So that is actually going around as well. You can find it in different film festivals. If you look it up, you could see me in that. That's something that's still being, what I want to say, they're still putting it out there.
Okay.
So that's something you could see me in.
Is that a feature or a short?
So it's a documentary, and within the documentary, there is a short film that tells one of the stories. I am a short film,
Oh, cool.
that portion of it. So the producers, they're doing a lot with it. So that is something, like, it's been shown in New York. It's been shown everywhere. So that is something that you could see me in. As far as projects lined up, just a lot of auditioning right now. What can I say? That's it. I would love to do a play,
Okay.
but that is something that's a little harder to work out. But I would love to do some more theater.
That's cool that you're kind of bringing things a bit full circle and
Yeah.
wanting to get back on a stage. It's definitely a different type of acting, but I totally understand that.
But it's been tough. Things are tough right now, but I don't want to give up.
No, there's no need to ever give up. And I'm happy to hear that Generation Hack is part of keeping you going too. That makes me feel good.
Because when sometimes like I feel like I have those days where I'm like, oh, I don't know if I should do this, I find out we're gonna be in the Big Apple Film Festival. It happens at those moments where I need it the most, and it does keep me going. It does. And my husband as well. I'm very lucky. He's so supportive. He won't let me give up.
I live with an actor. I'm married to an actor, and I totally know that life too. And you can never give up. You can never give up. So, keep the dream alive. And I mean, I have complete faith in you that you will continue to make amazing projects, and maybe more with Hahn Films. Who knows? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, Tiffany, thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you soon.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
So that was my interview with Tiffany Browne-Tavarez. As usual, it is amazing that I was able to catch up with her and learn some things that I hadn't known about her before, after knowing each other for over a decade now. If you like these episodes and you want to hear more from cast, crew, clients, and more who have worked with us, please follow the Hahn Films Podcast, and also follow along to find out more about Generation Hack, where in 2025, Gen Hack is about to go to its second festival, Maryland International Film Festival, in March, and we have hopefully plenty more to go as we continue looking through the timeline of festivals that we have submitted to. So until next time, I'm Matt Hahn, owner and executive producer at Hahn Films, and we look forward to seeing you.